Hi, Michael. Right.
Hello. Do I have sound?
I have.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Hey.
Getting my camera set up. There I am. There I am.
It's a bit dark now. Turn some light on. I think I can hear you, Michael.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
How's that?
Yep. Got
Yeah.
it.
Cool. All right. Sorry. There's like a million things I've got to set up and change and switch over, and it's kind of a complicated thing. I just wanted to check and confirm that the audio on the stream is working. I can't actually, for some strange reason, I can't check that on my side. Would it be possible for you, Elaine, just to have a look at the stream and confirm that the stream's playing audio, and then if it is,
Yeah,
then we're all good.
I can check that. Yeah, it is working for me. Right.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Are we waiting for anyone else, or should we kick off?
Yeah, I think we're still waiting for a couple actors, but they can join us as we get on.
Yeah, I'm on the Cena comments, and there's a lot of hi, Michael.
Hi. Thanks. First of all, thanks everyone for watching. It's a crazy ride of a show that we go through, and
Oh, you went on mute.
Yep.
Zoom things.
What time is it where you guys are?
It is currently 5:19 a.m. and I feel like a
Ooh.
fried nut right now.
Yeah, well, at least the sun's
You
gonna
didn't
come
end up
up.
sleeping, did you, Rob?
I had an hour nap only. I had an hour nap at like 9 p.m. 9 p.m. I woke up at like 10, and then I had some food, and then I tried to sleep again at like 1 a.m. and I couldn't get to sleep. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay up. Had like coffee
Yeah,
at like
that's what
2
I
a.m.
did.
Now I feel like I'm gonna crash. Like, I feel delirious now.
Yeah, me too.
I probably look it.
Cool. All right. I think they're just trying to log on. But let's get started.
Yeah, let's kick off. Well, thank you everyone for watching at home. I can see on Cena we have quite a few people watching along to this Q&A. I am making a note of questions, so if you have any audience questions, please do either put it in the Cena or the YouTube channel. Can they leave comments on that, Michael?
Yeah, actually, if you go directly on the YouTube link, you can, if you just click on the YouTube icon in the stream, it should open up the YouTube page, and you can, yeah, ask questions there.
Great, yeah. So go to Cena or the YouTube chat, and I will pick up the questions there. So first of all, just by saying Happy Halloween to everybody. My name is Elaine Wong. I work for the Rain Dance Film Festival, and I'm very, very happy that we were able to bring this film on Halloween of all nights, or I should say the 1st of November at 5 a.m. where you guys are. So thank you so much for joining us. What a film. I mean, if anyone else is watching at home on their own, like I am, I have definitely I probably will not sleep tonight now after seeing this film.
Well, that's the point. I'm glad to hear it.
So I'm going to start off by coming to you, Michael. If you could just tell us about the whole, how this all came together and how you came to make a film during lockdown and also about lockdown.
Yeah, definitely. So well, where do we start? We made a first show. This is the second sort of iteration of the show, and it's very, very different to the first one. And the first one started when we would just started lockdown. It was about 3 weeks into lockdown. I had this crazy idea of doing a film that would be performed live. A lot of people at the time were doing like stage readings and stuff like that, trying to take their theater shows to Zoom, and I thought, that's great, but it would be really interesting to see if we can just make a film that looks, something that looks like a film, but it's completely live. And and basically that's where we started, and wrote the initial script very quickly in 2 weeks, and found some amazing actors who were keen on, just doing some experimentation and giving things a go, and trying new things. And luckily I found these amazing actors, and we rehearsed for like a month, realized Zoom was the worst choice in the world. It would just not work on Zoom. And we switched very quickly, and I had to learn very quickly a new program, which is sort of a professional broadcasting tool. And basically we created the show off this tool that we used, which enables us a lot more freedom and flexibility to create it, and use it a little bit more like a sort of live editing tool. And the show, we did a couple of shows in June, July, and we're really proud of it. And we thought, let's push things a little bit further. Let's do a new show, and we basically rewrote the whole thing, and been rehearsing that for the last month rather intensely. And here we are. We're sort of, this is the first screening that we did tonight, and and I thought it went well, considering it's the first time we've done it, and little hiccups here and there, but that's what's so beautiful about live film and live performances, that every night that you watch it, it's going to be different, and it keeps us on our toes. So I guess that's kind of why we do it.
And was it filmed entirely on phones?
Yes, laptops and phones. Yeah, everything. There was not one professional camera used, and you can tell, like, it's pretty, it's pretty grainy, and we're also at the whim of Australian internet, which even at 4 a.m. in the morning is a little shit.
But I think that completely adds to kind of the atmosphere of the film, though, for the fact that it's so grainy that you can hardly keep up with what's happening, and then you have this kind of lag, and then it's like, then something comes at you. So I think you completely made the most of that. I can see some of you guys have some extra help. Did you guys, the actors, are you guys on your own, or do you have anyone there kind of behind the scenes helping you out?
We're almost all on our own. I think like 90% of the time we're on our own, and we have sort of shots that we've organized and rehearsed and set up before performing, with, I guess, the exception of the final scene where we have Victor, who's with Nalani and Sam and Caesar. I don't think you can see it. There he is. I think that's the one time that we have extra help. Otherwise, it's just all of us hanging out in our separate houses with our laptops.
Great. So in the rehearsal process, I'll start with you, Michael. How much of it is scripted, and how much do you just tell the actors actually if something goes wrong that you just improv? That's it, you go off script?
Yeah, we have a script that we rehearsed with. That script is always changing, just because of the nature of the show. Things have to adjust pretty quickly. You know, a lot of what we're doing is it's not it's film language to an extent, but really, you know, we can't cut with to multiple angles in one shot. We're really restricted to sort of one angle per scene, which it becomes a little bit more theatrical in that sense. So because of that, the actors are definitely, you know, they definitely have room to play. And even tonight, there were new things that happened. I mean, every night, every rehearsal, new things happen. So we have this sort of strong structure, and then in between those moments, if things go wrong, or if, you know, internet's lag a little bit, or, you know, or an actor offers something new, and then the actors can kind of go off on that, and yeah, just continue, you know, the show. And then of course I'm editing the whole thing, so I can either cut or let them play, or cut away from them. So in that sense, they're also fully aware of kind of the parameters, I think, of what makes the show have a sort of consistent pacing and beat.
Were there any kind of moments tonight that for the actors that you had to improvise with? Was everything to script?
Oh, no. It's definitely something went wrong. What about you guys, Nalani, Caesar, Sam?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see what happens. You know, there was one part, you know, where Robert's character Ty, when he was calling my character on the motorcycle,
Hmm.
and I said happy birthday to him.
Yeah, he's never said that before.
Okay, yeah, that was improvised.
That caught me off guard. I'm like, happy birthday this time. Shut up, man. But thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
There was one moment that went kind of wrong tonight, and that was no one's fault. It was just internet, and it's a moment where right at the end of the show, where Nalani gets, well, the character of Hannah gets chased into a cupboard, and we have two devices in that scene, and she's supposed to be in the cupboard like screaming, right? And then there's a banging while she's in the cupboard, and we had on that device we had about a 1 minute lag. So when the show was finished, I was getting the feed of her in the cupboard, and I was just watching it going, that's what happened. Okay, because I'm like, because they can hear me talking to them, and you can't hear me, but they can hear me, and I'm just going, guys, I'm just going to move on. There's nothing there, you know. Find another, you know, cut to the wide shot, and that they're performing that scene live, but they don't know.
Michael's like, you're on. I'm like, I know.
And then after the show, I'm watching you going, oh. And it's funny, I'd say that's the worst lag that we've ever got. That lag we got
was really bad.
the worst we've ever had in the whole rehearsal process. So
I'm going to start the question. This is from one of the Rain Dance team. So it's for you, Michael. Writing for film and writing for theatre requires different structures and skill sets. How did you approach writing something that falls somewhere between the two?
yeah, I think I sort of naturally went to film when writing it, in the beginning, and very quickly, even through this version's process, we kind of throw away the script and then just discuss and collaborate with the actors. I feel like that's perhaps where it gets a little bit more theatrical. So we have the sort of structure of the script, which is filmic, and then while we're rehearsing, we discover things during the play of it. But then of course it looks like a film, right? So we have to cut and are aware of sort of more film language when it comes to more the edit, I'd say. But with the character work and the performance, that's really a little bit more theatrical.
You're right. I'm just having a look at some of the comments and questions on Cena. I've got best movie I've seen all year. If there's any more questions from the audience, please do keep them coming.
No, just leave it at that. Thanks, guys.
That's all the feedback I need. I'm going to sleep.
Fine. I wrote no.
Jokes.
There's definitely one that I want to pick up on. Where did it go? Yeah. Okay. What was the most challenging bit of putting on this performance? And it's going to be to any of you guys.
I reckon the actors could probably. Why don't we hear it from every single one of you? Give us
Being so self-aware, I think, is really challenging because you're kind of playing as your own crew member during this, as well as acting. Like there is it's a kind of a new. It feels like a new muscle in regards to acting.
You kind of have to split your brain.
Yeah, it's like theater where it's a rush the whole way through, and you can kind of build on the performance, and it's all gonna happen. And then the closeness of film and the intimacy, and this self-awareness that you're live at a certain moment, and you've got to begin and not catch yourself looking at the camera. You know, that's been a really interesting process.
This time around during the rehearsal process, I was finding it difficult to connect with the other actors. I didn't necessarily feel that so much during the first run. I guess because it was all really new, and like working this way was new, and like Zoom calls, it was all just like happening. And then the second time it felt like it was like, okay, we've built these relationships on this device, and like that's kind of it. So I was feeling it was challenging. Yeah, but I mean, it works. Like we have built strong relationships through it, which I think is really cool. We've never met.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the same for me as well, because it's made me realize how much time, like how much of the relationship is built in the time and space, like outside of rehearsal. Like when you go to get coffee and like have a tea break, and if you're walking to the bus stop or whatever after rehearsal, and that's kind of where you get to chat and get to know everyone. But because we're all like, none of us have met in person, it's just a totally different challenge. We just log on, and then once we're finished with rehearsal, we log off. So all of the relationships between the characters have to be built in that like 2-hour rehearsal time slot on screen, which has been definitely very challenging, but I think we got there.
Emily, we met.
Yeah, we did meet like 30 seconds.
So when I'm driving, I'm actually driving to her house.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we met out the front of my house one time wearing masks and did the elbow bump. And then apart from that, I don't ever go out to see him.
Because we had no idea that we live close to each other, because Emily came in onto this new script. So we didn't have her in the previous show. And then we found out that we lived in the same suburb. So I was like, no way. And we found out that we were like just a couple blocks away from each other. So Mark was like, this is too much of a good chance. I've got to... Oh, my light just went out. That's a bit scary. Oh, shit.
Michael, is that you?
Uh-oh. Yeah, so Mark was like, let's write something in. How about Ty, you go to her house and then something goes down? I'm like, that is cool.
Or is the Zoom call part of the show?
Who knows?
And we've got a comment on that. Just from Joey saying, that's incredible that you haven't met in person. You can't tell at all.
Wow. Well, the one thing about the show, which is, for me, it's also been incredibly hard. Like it's something that's been a bit of a challenge from the first to the second as well. Is I've grown to be quite close to everyone, and I do talk to them more than they talk to each other. But you know, 3 of us have been in this really intense lockdown in Melbourne. You know, I think we've been in lockdown since March, the longest in the world, I believe. And we only just opened last week, and it was incredibly taxing. Whereas the first month of lockdown, the first show we did, it felt very fresh, right? And kind of to jump on a new project like this was exhilarating. You know, months down the track, to do it again and to be still in lockdown, it was very taxing and difficult, I think, on us as people. And I think the fact that we all pulled through it, and now that we get to meet each other next week, is, I think, just testament to how committed these actors are. Yeah, it was. I think that was the biggest challenge for me. It was just being virtual, and not being able to really connect to people properly. But at the same time, that's what the show is. So it kind of, without that, the show wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Cena question which has been asked multiple times, so I'm going to ask it. It's that was a roller coaster of emotions. What happened at the end? The same question. What has been eaten in the last shot? And again, what happened at the end? What did she eat?
What did she eat?
Yeah.
What did I eat?
Yeah. You want to show them?
Ooh,
The
here we
line
go.
is
Here we
gonna
go.
show you.
Here we go.
Disgusting.
It's maybe you could guess what it is.
Yeah, guess what it is. Glow in the dark condoms.
Yeah, those are glow in the dark condoms with bananas, smushed up bananas and peels.
Yummy.
Yeah.
So what the light was a little bit low tonight in that final scene. I think it worked really well, actually. It's usually a little bit brighter, and usually you see that she's eating Jace. So Jace it was too dark, but Jace is lying on the floor and she's eating his stomach, basically. So that's what you should have seen, but hey, it was live and these things happen.
I think
But I
that's
like
part
that.
of the fun, though, the mystery.
Yeah.
You don't quite know what she's eating. It's just
Totally, and the fact that people are asking questions, I think that's kind of an interesting thing as well.
There's a recipe for that after this meeting.
Cooking classes.
Okay. Another question was, are you guys planning to re-record and release this in the future?
I think the plan is to just keep doing the shows. So this is the first one, and the plan is to do like a tour. So going across the world, do different territories. I think next we're gonna hit up Korea, which would be exciting, South Korea, and then from there we'll just take it on the road. I don't know if we record it and stuff, and I think it would be interesting to make a film out of it, as a film. And to shoot it sort of properly, but that's sort of have no headspace for that.
I've just got some comments I can see on scene just saying how gross it is. Just a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, I think there's a 30-second delay between the Zoom and the YouTube, so we're probably getting all these comments a little bit delayed.
So I think we're going to go for, if there's any more audience questions, please do leave. We've got time for maybe one more. I will ask, so this, Michael, this is definitely a new trend, I think, for filmmakers. Kind of, how you make the most of the situation that we're all in the pandemic, and how you're going to work with actors, just to create new work, and how you can reach audiences. Do you think that this liveness is important, and having that, just for the audience at home to kind of have that connection where they're actually watching something that's happening kind of in real time?
Yeah, I think as a format and as a medium, I'm very excited by it. I think that it feels like it's something new. It's kind of a return to appointment viewing, where you have to be somewhere at a certain time to watch something live. I think there's something special about that, and of course the fact that it's new and unique every performance, that lends itself really well into sort of more theatre principles. So I think for not to compare it to a film, but more to compare it to a live experience. I think if you look at it from within that sort of model, then it's definitely, I think, it's definitely something I think can take off and continue. And so I'm pretty excited by it, and got some plans to do some other stuff which which should be cool. Yeah, and also I think COVID has really also made us a little bit more accepting of these kind of virtual performances, virtual ideas. And because of COVID, people are willing to sort of experiment with that. So it's a really fascinating time for genres and platforms to be changing and experimenting, because audiences, I think, are pretty hungry for it. And audience is going to be super hungry for live stuff as well, but at least the conversation can be had. Whereas, you know, a couple of years ago, if you pitched this idea, people would just be like, yeah, I'm not going to watch that. That sounds like, yeah, it sounds terrible.
Absolutely. And we've got a question here from Joey from Cena. Some of the viewers didn't believe you were doing this live because it was so well produced. Do you think about how to make live moments more obvious, like interaction with the audience? Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a really good question. We've had discussions about this a fair bit, especially in the last show, and we could have done it this show as well. I just think the structure of what this is and what we wanted from this, I don't believe it lends itself well to interactivity for this show. I mean, my career is based on sort of interactivity and interactive, storytelling, and I think for different types of shows and different stories, definitely, I think it would be fascinating to get audience input to involve them within the show. Yeah, because that's one thing we get a lot, is that people forget that it's live, right? That's a comment we get a lot, and I think that can be both a positive and a negative thing. But for this one, we'll take it as a positive.
I'm going to finish by going around to all the performers and asking what your standout scene was. What was your favourite tonight?
I think I loved Ty's death scene in the car. It just creeps me out so much. I just get, the mum's face flashing in the back seat, and then the water, like everything about that freaks me out every single time. Very scary.
That was
Good job.
Thank you. It was painful. I don't know how to hold my breath underwater, so I kept like breathing in water, and it's really painful. Now I'm trying to think of a scene. I always really enjoy the scene straight after running away from your house, and jumping in my car and just like, because I'm actually driving. This is not pre-recorded. I am driving. Yeah, I'm trying to be safe, but it's 4 a.m. in the morning, so there's not many cars, so that's good. And I'm just driving, and then like Jules and Meg pop up, and like we're all like talking and like arguing, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so much energy, and it's intense, and I'm driving, I'm trying to focus on the road and talk to these girls at the same time, and saying that Meg's in trouble, and I don't know, it's just chaotic, and I just love that. Yeah.
I would have to say it's the ending scene. I love the way it's turned out, and I kind of wish I could be there to see what happens. Like, I'm so jealous I can't, because I can just imagine it's a dance between Victor, the cinematographer, and then Nalani and then Caesar. So I think that one for me for sure.
And Victor's he's just peeked his head across there. He's doing that last scene.
I really like that scene as well. Victor actually lives upstairs, so like halfway through the show, he comes downstairs. And during that time where we glitched out and I was preparing, I was actually doing push-ups just before then. And Victor comes in, and you scared the shit out of me, because I'm like meant to be in the house by myself. I was like,
and it's 4 a.m. in the morning, 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, my nervous system is shot. That's for sure.
Yeah, that last scene was epic. I wish you guys could have seen a bit more. But just seeing like Caesar and Nalani playing together and dancing with Victor, and Nalani's eyes, like when they sat on the couch, were just like running with tears. Seeing them both so engaged and locked into the ending was pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool. It's like a full release, because I take my Bluetooth off, so I'm no longer really connected to the show, and it's like kind of the last thing that we can just experience. And whatever comes out, it's just like really raw.
Feels like a theater stage. Yeah.
I've got a final audience question here from Amber saying, what was the hardest thing to do?
Everything.
Everyone in agreement for one hard scene?
Praying that internet doesn't drop out because it's happened multiple times.
I would say that too. Like the technique is really a challenge in this because it's like it's not really what it's built for. I feel like with some are on Wi-Fi, some are on 4G, and nothing is really like it's not like a centralized. Nothing stable. Yeah. So there's so much having to deal with like technical issues that can't be replicated, and it's like. Yeah, sometimes you just go down a deep hole of how to solve something that's actually unsolvable. You know?
One of the hard things I found was having to have the motorcycle on standby plus a car and a bicycle just in case. But because it's been like 2 weeks ago when we were rehearsing with the idea of the motorcycle, it was sunny. And then out of nowhere, the next 2 weeks was forecast raining. So we were waiting, going, all right, is it going to rain? Is it not? What do we do here? And, you know, so luckily it's not raining and got on the motorcycle. There's one scene which is like where I stop, take off my helmet and talk to Robert's character and Nalani's character. And where I stop there here in Sydney, I don't know how it happened, but today at 4 o'clock in the morning or whenever, people were walking past me, and as I was yelling and having that conversation into the phone, so they just kind of look at me, and I try not to look because last rehearsal I waved to someone on the motorcycle, and Victor was like, "Just remember, no one's around. You can't wave."
It reminds me of when Sam was outside in his hazmat, and then someone was like, "Hey, why are you in a hazmat suit?"
Yeah, everyone's like, "Why are you in a COVID suit?"
What are you doing?
Yeah, right when I was up to the scene.
Right when we're rehearsing and he's on. It's so funny. Oh,
Yeah, it's
man.
all part of the fun of being live and the members of the public, I'm sure. Right, I think we're going to wrap up here because I can see some daylight where some of you guys are. I think it's definitely time for you guys to log off for the night. Happy Halloween to you all.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Happy
Much.
Halloween.
And a
Thank you.
big thank you to everyone for watching at home as well. There's lots of, just everyone saying thank you guys, and it was great. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks a
everyone,
lot
for
to everyone
watching.
who tuned in and had a look.
Thanks for having us.
See you next time.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.